Hey there, folks. Chuck here, and boy, did I have a Saturday. As I showed in a previous video, my neighbor is moving, and he had a pretty large collection of diecasts, even though he does not consider himself really like much of a diecast collector. But as I've said before, and I'll say again, you can't be a big car guy without acquiring little cars along the way, and boy, did he have a bunch of them. So he's moving, and he is selling off his collection, and I got a sneak peek in that video is what I found before, and then he found a whole bunch more stuff and listed it with an estate sale today. So I was over there bright and early. Unfortunately, I was not able to get permission to record there, and there were too many people, and I decided that it was best to just not deal with running around and asking people if it was okay to record them. But I wanted to show you what I found, because I found a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm going to start with this one, which is an Ertl early four-eyed fox casting. You know, it's not the best casting, but it is a unusual one. At least up until recently with GreenLight, it was pretty difficult to find a pre-85 four-eyed fox. So this looks like an 83 or an 82. It doesn't have the cool split grill. And just a really fun casting. I'd seen it before when I was there, and he wanted a certain amount for it, and I was, you know, he wanted to check it out first, and so I let him. And but you know, the crazy thing here is these cars that I'm showing you, unless I say otherwise, were $1 a piece. So I got out of there with all of these cars for less than $60. So buckle up, this is amazing. So the first thing I wanted to start with were these Ertl collectibles, which I was not actually that familiar with. And I'm gonna crack open one of them because I got a few of them that are duplicates. So there's this 69 Cougar Eliminator, and I think you'll see right away why I'm so intrigued by it. And it's this little bit right here, because I don't know. I think there's very few 1/64 scale vehicles that offer an opening trunk. I think Racing Champions had a Grand Prix or a GTO. I think it was a 65 GTO that offered that. So had to take a look at this. Check this out. This is branded Ertl on the bottom. This is yeah, you compare this to that other Mustang over there. That is a big difference in quality. We got actual rubber tires here. This one's kind of slipping off here. I'm gonna fix that. We got the opening trunk, which actually is that supposed to be a spare tire in the back there? I think that might be. No, that might just be a rivet. I don't know. Plastic base, but still painted, still molded. The exhaust pipes are separate, so those come off. That's handy. This would be a fantastic base for a custom, although I'm not seeing rivets, so I'm curious how this thing is put together. That will be something to figure out later, but nice real riders. Looks like real Ford wheels, detailed engine, multiple colors, multiple pieces, decals on the, check that out. Oh. Actual decals on the air cleaner. This is a very, very nice casting, so glad I was able to pick those up. And I actually got a duplicate of that one because it was like, they're $1 a piece. Why not? You're going to see a lot of Ford stuff, so bear with me here if you're not really a Ford person. I got this set. This is the Rebel Rod series, which came with some water slide decals from Johnny Lightning. I think this is from, yeah, this is playing Mantis era Johnny Lightnings. So, you know, you got all the information about the Johnny Lightning Collector Club, of which my brother was a member. I was not, because I had started to get out of diecasts by then, but my brother was. And I think recently I passed on his car to somebody who wanted it for their collection. This is a Premier Nostalgia Collection 68 Mustang Cobra. It's got the rubber tires on it. This is from kind of the era where they started putting more detail into these premiums and putting rubber tires on them instead of the old super fast style. It's got Cobra Jet on the plate. little storage box. Unfortunately, you can see that it had a rubber band in there, and that rubber band has since deteriorated. I'm going to crack this one open too because I'm curious. Yeah, look at that. So these were stored in a semi-climate controlled environment. I don't think it was climate controlled that much, and so that's kind of evident on the cards. So I'm going to keep some packaged just because I think they would be better off in the hands of another collector. But I wanted to grab a few for myself, and this is definitely one of them. And but yeah, I see that rubber band is just dust that I will have to sweep up now. Is that 69 Mustang Mach 1? What was the other one, 69? Yeah, okay, just a different colored version of that. Cyclone spoiler, you can see this one, another Playing Mantis era, and the card has started to, the blister pack has started to brown, which is an interesting thing, so I don't know what exactly was causing that. Maybe this one was sitting in the sun for a while, but it's a Cyclone spoiler. It looks like those are rubber tires on it. It's kind of hard to tell with the earlier Johnny Lightnings. So here's another one. This one's definitely got plastic wheels on it. 68 Shelby GT500. Authentic diecast replicas. KB Toys exclusive. That was available at KB Toys for $2.99 at the time. Does it have the year? 2000. So 23 years this thing is sat in its container, and it will sit for just a little bit longer because I've got a lot to get through. So I got some pretty wild Hot Wheels to get to in a bit. There weren't too many Mopars in there, but I did pick this one up because this is a very nice casting. It is a 67 Plymouth Belvedere, as seen in the movie Tommy Boy. I believe they did do a Hollywood Tommy Boy. I do not have that one in my collection, but I do want to remedy that because I do have a pretty good Hollywood diecast collection that I would like to add to that. This is a very nice container here. 70 GT500 convertible. Again, we've got some tinting here on the blister pack. So it's a little factoid there. Very fun. I think often underappreciated looks-wise Shelby, because it was really kind of at the end of the Shelby Mustang era. They didn't do Shelby Mustangs for the 71 to 73 year before they ended those. So kind of the last hurrah of the Shelby Mustang partnership for that era. Classic Golds collection. I liked this one because it did not have hood scoops or bulges or anything. This is a nice stock looking Mercury Cougar. It's got something that I've never seen before, and I wonder if this is just from time, but it's got brown walls. I wonder if those used to be white. Let's crack this open. Let's see what the other side looks like. Maybe nope, they're brown on this side too. Look at that. Alright, leave a comment if you know about brown wall tires. I'm very curious about that. That is, I've seen red lines, and I've seen, you know, your classic white walls, but brown walls. This is from the Classic Plastic series. I have a few of these. Very cool, very clever tie. And there's those brown walls again. Interesting. 69 AMX. So that's got to be... oh, the box has kind of got brown walls on it too, but I'm wondering if that's from the packaging. Very interesting. They would include this little box. There's nothing in the box, but it would be a representative of a Johan or an older kit, and I think now Round 2 owns all of those and has been releasing those in the 1/24/1/25 scale lines, which is very cool. This one's fun. Another blast from the past. Kmart $4.99, for me $1, which incredible. Very cool kit. Not as detailed as that other Ertl. You see the bases molded in there, but we got separate rubber tires, kind of detailed painted engine. So pretty good base for someone like me who likes to do weathered and partially dismantled and damaged vehicles. I thought that was a very cool set. Save the Hot Wheels for a little later. Another Cougar Eliminator. This one's in white. Love that it has an opening trunk. That is such a rare thing to find in 1/64 scale. So we got some GreenLights in here. This one was interesting. This is the Dell Rugged Solutions Charger, which, okay. The Dell police are coming for you. But I guess this was to promote their police line of rugged laptops. But yeah, kind of a cool promotional GreenLight piece, something that you don't see that often. Not really a casting that I'm super interested in, but I am interested in strange and unusual editions of things, like this 70 Ford Mustang that he had. This is another GreenLight from the Muscle Car Garage series. Not often you see the coupe version of a 69 or 70 Ford Mustang, so I was very pleased to add that to my collection. 64.5 Ford Mustang pace car. This is a Johnny Lightning, again from the Praying Mantis era. Very cool, classic pace car. One of the best ways to introduce a new car of that era, and boy did this thing take the world by storm. But it's got that Wimbledon white paint job that's kind of off-white, full white interior, that beautiful blue stripe, the classic graphics on the side. Probably one of the best looking Mustangs ever, so I was pleased to add that to my collection. This is an interesting one. This is the Johnny Lightning Gold Series Muscle Car Limited Edition. So as opposed to the other Johnny Lightnings that were typically in a cardboard and plastic thing, this is fully encased in plastic. So opening hood, rubber tires, basic details on the engine and chassis. Very cool. Another pace car. This is the 68 Ford Torino from Indianapolis. This would be back when Round 2 had their Indy license. We had the guys from Round 2 on, and somebody had asked in the comments about them doing Indy stuff again, and they do not currently have the Indianapolis 500 licensing. They might again someday, but that is currently not the case. 2012 Ford Focus from GreenLight. Unusual casting. Not one I think is all that available anymore. But again, it was $1. I'm gonna you give me GreenLights for $1, I'm gonna buy GreenLights all day. Some more Cougars. You got the 69 Cougar Classic Gold Series. Very cool green paint job. Raised white leather tires. Metal base. This one's also metal base. Another one of those Rebel rods with the water slide decals. Very fun. Oh, you got more GreenLight in the mix. A 2010 Ford Mustang GT that came with a little shop accessory. Looks like some kind of, I think that's like an arc welder or something. But very cool. Let's see. And there's the different cars that were in the series. Oh, it's a battery charger. Okay, that makes sense. Some kind of power distribution center. So yeah, that was the series there. All right, we did get a few little guys. I tell myself no cars that are not 1/64 scale unless I find a really good deal on in-scale, because I do have a decent amount of in-scale stuff. For a while I was going to do an in-scale railroad just because I liked the challenge of it. In-scale is roughly 144 scale depending on whose in-scale you're talking about. So this series was a really nice thing for people doing in-scale builds, because it was fairly detailed for the size, and they were die-cast metals. They have a nice weight to them as opposed to the flimsy plastic cars that are frequently seen at that scale. So again, $1 for 3 and $1 for 1. I'm going to take that all day long. So here's one for Mr. David Johns. It is a Chrysler PT Cruiser. I don't think he's a particular Rams fan, but it comes with a very nice Fleer gold leaf football card. So that's going to be set aside for Mr. David Johns, because I know he loves him some PT Cruisers. And let's see, got a few more oddballs before we get into the good stuff here. Interesting little Speed Wheels series trailer, just a trailer. That was 2 for 1 at one point. When was this made? Made in China. 2003, so 20 years ago. And let's see what we got here. Doesn't really look like much, but a little paint and weathering it would be very nice. I don't know what's going on with these tires. Those are tiny little pizza cutters there, even for a trailer. So that would be an easy swap out. I got some cars in the collection now that I can poach tires from. We got one more in scale here, by the way. This looks like a 65 Ford Mustang. So it's interesting that it doesn't really say anywhere on there that it's a Mustang. It's licensed with Motor Trend, though. That's interesting. So okay, so it talks about the designs, logos and body designs. So it was licensed, but there was a period of time where Racing Champions did not do licensed vehicles. When they first getting started, they had stock cars that were all kind of genericized Lumina looking things. But that's another story for another day. Projects in Progress, one of my favorite series ever to come out. Still one that's being done at Johnny Lightning today, and I know this car is 20 years old because I had this one in my collection there, 2004, so 19 years old. And yeah, Johnny Lightning 10-year anniversary in 2004. So 1994 to... yeah. That's interesting. I always thought Johnny Lightning was further back than that. But anyway. Very fun series. Love the for sale in the window. Looks like it's heavily tinted. It is actually see-through. You can actually catch a little light through the window. But mismatched panels, primer. I actually have this one in my collection, but glad to add it again. Love the mismatched wheels on it. Very cool car. Found these tucked away. These were the only things that were... actually, this one was $1 and this one was $4. Again, you can see, unfortunately, the rubber bands that were in them have disintegrated. And I'm not going to open them because I don't want more dust on my desk. But you can kind of see here, it's really cool how they made the top for the Mustang. This looks like it's a 1999 era Mustang. Yep, 99 series. So this would be the first run, and they included a raw version of each. And you can see that the top is actually all plastic, and they just painted in the body color area on that raw, which is very cool. And this one over here, the 1970 Ford Mustang. Again, just a great casting. Really cool that they both have the rubber tires on them. First vehicles roll off the assembly line. There's a classic assembly line picture there. That's definitely not from when they were made, and definitely not where they were made, but still very fun. Let's see. We got anything else before I get to the big guns? All right. Got another Cougar Eliminator kit. It's interesting. This one's kind of vertically mounted as opposed to horizontally. So, and this one's an Ertl Collectibles as well, but definitely different from that other series. So, great little set for customizing. Maybe since I got two of them, Tracy and I will do a group build together on that one. She and I. Shelby Collectibles. I've got a little Carroll Shelby to add to one of my displays, which is super cool. And it comes with 2 extra sets of tires. Looks like wheels and tires. So that's very cool. And again, the disintegrating rubber band on that one. But this is actually, it's not branded on the top. Let's see. Runs under of history because actual production number to fall short or exceed the estimate. Wow, that is a heck of a disclaimer. So check that out. You can pause that if you want to read it, but that's a very entertaining disclaimer. So let's see. License Bill Neal 2011. But yeah, I'm curious where the casting came from. But he had a few of these. I wasn't really into the Cobra stuff, and I might actually head back tomorrow because tomorrow is half price day, if you can believe it. So I might just show up and clean up whatever's left. I thought this was interesting. This is a casting that I don't have in my collection, so I picked that one up. It's kind of a fun one. And this is, I think I got 2 main lines. Yeah, I got 2 main lines, and the rest are a little nicer. So hold on to your hats for those. 64 Lincoln Continental, great casting, one of my favorites. This reminds me of the car from Inspector Gadget, the Matthew Broderick version. And while that is not a movie that I'm particularly nostalgic over, I do want to add that as a filler piece for my collection. All right, I think that's all of the non-Hot Wheels stuff. Oh, there was one more of these. All right, sorry, there were 2 more of those. Yeah, I grabbed those. These. I gotta show you these. So these are Revell. Remember Revell did 1/64 scale? Well, now you do. So this is the 68 Dodge Charger and the 68 Ford Mustang from the film Bullitt, which was the first film to have a major car chase scene. That's up for debate, but it was definitely the first one to have a truly awesome car chase scene in it. And Steve McQueen uses the Mustang to chase the 68 Charger, and the Charger loses 7 hubcaps along the way somehow. But very nice detailing on these. You got the license plates are accurate to the film. Wait a second. I was trying to see. It almost looks like the license plate is upside down. That's interesting. No, it's not. Okay. But yeah, very cool cars. I've got the GreenLight version of the Bullitt Mustang in my collection, and now I've got the Revell one and the Racing Champions one. Racing Champions had a very cool set. It was a very interesting set because it was a mix of Racing Champions castings and old Ertl castings, because they brought back the Coyote from wasn't Simon and Simon. Oh well, that show that had the Coyote, the red swooshy fiberglass thing. That's gonna bother me. I know the theme song. I can sing you the theme song right now. Right. Anyway, so this is interesting because this is, of course, not actually a 68 Mustang. This is a 68 Mustang Cobra casting, so it's not particularly accurate. You can see there are quite a few differences in the side scoops, the vents, and the front ends of these cars. And of course, Racing Champions, being Racing Champions, liked their cars a little bigger than 1/64 scale for some reason. Now this one, I saw it right as I was walking in, and I pounced on it because holy cow, this is the Gone in 60 Seconds 73 Ford Mustang from the movie, the original one that started it all, or started the Nicolas Cage one eventually. So very cool, very hard to find casting, something that I've wanted to add to my collection for a while. I'm gonna crack it because I got to. I am so excited about this. So, plastic tires, but they are nicely textured. At least they look pretty decent. The front grille is very simple, but it is a 73 Mach 1 Mustang, which was my dream car growing up. I always wanted a 73 Mustang. And it's interesting, you can see the paint is actually starting to crack on these things. I don't know if you can see that in the video. We'll see if I can shine the light across it there. Very, that's a shame. But at the same time, that's part of having a collection like that. You gotta take the cars as they come. And I think this is the only version that I'm aware of the Gone in 60 Seconds from 1973 Mustang in 1/64 scale. So that's going over there. All right, now I'm gonna do the Hot Wheels. So we got the Hot Wheels Ultra Hots opening hood, highly detailed engine, all die-cast body and chassis, realistic tires and wheels. So this is before the metal Real Riders logos got added to the bottom there. This is kind of that era where it's 2005. Not Johnny Lightning. Hot Wheels was trying to go after the higher end. You know, this would have been the Johnny Lightning Racing Champions market. I don't know what. I don't think GreenLight was really doing much in 2005, but they briefly experimented with doing these kind of more high-end castings that were, you know, beyond premiums. They had opening parts and more detailed features. There's not really anything out there, I think, besides the RLC that they're doing stuff like that now. But look at this packaging. Like, you know, you're definitely not going to see packaging like this on the pegs for Hot Wheels right now. And this is the 70 Mercury Cyclone limited edition. Very interesting. So E3, we've been using Real Rider tires on our vehicles. You can feel real rubber, blah, 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 blah. All right. So, pretty cool. Officially licensed, of course. Very beefy package there. Whoa, that could be taken out of context. Got another Ultra Hot. Another opening hood. Very, I think this is the same casting as the other one. Just kind of a different variant on it. Got Redline tires on it. So again, a nice casting that, you know, you haven't seen in a while from them. I thought this was a very interesting one. This is from a popular hot rodding tie-in. Highly detailed engines. Got a kind of a topped up look. It's got, you know, straight pipes out the side, but, you know, still very classic Cougar lines. 1968. I'm actually going to look this one up before I crack it, so I don't mess up anything too special. I know the 73 Mustang is a really hard to find one, but I don't care. That one's going to my collection. I'm not reselling that one. That's not why I got into this hobby. But very cool. It's got that kind of matte finish final top on it. Nicely detailed tampos for the turn signals and the badges. You know, again, more that chunky stylized Hot Wheels style, but still very, very cool. Got some Hot Wheels classics. Shelby AC Cobra special paint. Looks like it's just polished Zamek. Might be just clear coated. Another Zamek sized car with these plastic raised white letter tires. Mustang Mach 1. And these things have been, looks like that stuff cleans up pretty good. So, but like so many things that sit away, they collect dust, and I'm hoping I can find either homes for these, or I can find something cool to do with them. 67 Camaro convertible is very cool. I'm not really a Camaro guy, but I think the 67 was a beautiful car, and again, very cool casting. Let's see what else we got. We got this 65 Mustang. I love the old KB Toys logos on these. These were ones that somebody went out and bought off the pegs back when you could get these things on the pegs, which is pretty wild. So again, 2005 era. Another Shelby Cobra with Spectra Flame orange and blue. It's almost a Gulf livery on it, which is very cool. Thing looks very, very shiny. And there were even a couple of Redline replicas. This one, the custom Mustang, sadly that came off, but I don't really have too many Redlines in my collection, and I know that these are actually different from the actual Redline cars. The wheels are different, the suspension is different, but they're pretty good approximations of these cars, as they sort of looked in the early days. They definitely didn't have that little Hot Wheels tempo on the back of them, so might find something fun to do with those. So I'm not chopping up real Redlines. A few more. This is a series that I really liked, the 100% Hot Wheels 1970 Ford Mustang. Very nice casting, very realistic proportions, but still got that Hot Wheels rake to it with the larger tires in the back. Very nice detailed interior, and probably tap the hood open. There we go. Fortunately, again, the paint has been degraded by the rusting, the disintegrating rubber bands. But again, as a customizer, that's not that much trouble for me. I can always repaint it. Got a few more cool ones before we wrap up here. Hot Wheels Garage Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. Very nice casting, and one that you don't see too terribly often. But this is definitely more recent. You got the metal Real Riders on it. So it's a very cool casting. Looks like that was a very good run of cars. That's cool stuff in there. So many Fords. I guess this was just the Ford series. Well, anyway, the Vintage Racing 70 Ford Mustang. This one is still definitely in circulation, as is I think this Cougar one's still being around. The mainline version of this is available now. And as we learned talking with Brendan Butusky on Diecast Breakdown, these, even though they look the same, are actually different castings from the ones that have the plastic bases and are more mainlined. But they do use elements of the premium castings in the mainline versions and vice versa. So this is a very cool one. That one, the 70 Charger RT, is one that I definitely want to add to my collection. That's one of the few that I would actually want to add and not customize, because I think it would be it's just, I love that livery. So, and finally, this very cool California Customs casting that comes in this really cool tube 67 Shelby GT500, the Eleanor from the 1999, got in 60 seconds, of course, with different paint. This is the classic white and Shelby blue stripe on it. Very cool car, and very cool container. Again, 2005, so just kind of a different era of Hot Wheels, and when they were trying some really different things, and they're doing a lot of great stuff now, don't get me wrong. It's just kind of interesting, the stuff that's available now. It looks like, I guess these were designed so this would come off and you could stack these tubes together, and unfortunately this one is missing, but again, that's not really a big deal for me because I'm probably going to crack this thing open, and this is just basic plastic. There's nothing really particularly special about that. So anyway, let me know which one's your favorite. I'm curious. I know that there are a lot of you out there that have been screaming at your monitors going, don't open that, or open that, or bring that back. I'm curious what your favorite casting was from this series. And again, I can't believe I found all of this for less than $60 US. I forgot the last one. Look at this. This one's very cool. Larry's Hot Wheels Garage. Larry Wood, of course, legendary Hot Wheels designer. So this would be a Larry Wood designed casting, or at least a collaborative casting that he did. And it's the Real Riders metal body, and this one is raw metal, which I think is very, very cool. It's got the Treasure Hunt logo up there. I don't think it was used kind of in the same way as it is now, but yeah, that's just the collector's thing up there. These guys, well, they all have that stamp. So anyway, I don't really have a Larry Wood car. I'd love to have him on Diecast Breakdown sometime. If anybody can help me make that happen, I would love to talk to Larry, and I know the guys would love to chat with him. But just a very cool car, and I had set it aside because I was like, I need to wrap up with that one, and I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? Well, of course it's this one. Look at that metal body. So very cool, and wonderful find. Wishing my neighbor the best of luck as he strikes it out west, and thank him again for sharing his collection with me, and making things available at such reasonable prices. So again, thank you for making it to the end of another video. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. You can, of course, support the show over at diecastmedianetwork.com, and please check us out on our weekly show, Diecast Breakdown, where we talk to the creators, influencers, and idealists that are coming up with fantastic stuff in the diecast community. It's a great time and a great discussion with Mark of Dots and Man Diecast and David of Twice Diecasts. Those guys are fantastic. I love working with them, and I'm really excited with where the show is going. So please check that playlist out if you haven't done that yet. And as always, I want to thank you for coming along with me for the ride. So until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags.